Howdy, folks. It is Monday, June 30th, and this is the weekly OpenJS Security Collaboration Space meeting. So today, we've got a few things on the agenda, and to start, let's talk about um, the first agenda item that came up, the IA, AI, excuse me, AI ML security item. I'm not sure who added that. I think Victor.
Yeah, so as you know that this group has contributed a lot to the establishment of the current open source project security baseline. And so in the OpenSSF AI ML group, we are extending the baseline into AI ML. Um, yeah, so the initial goal is really to do a simple mapping, extend what there right now into the AI ML, and of course adding new items along the way. So in a way, it's like the baseline 2 years ago. So I'm not sure whoever was involved in that. Um, yeah, so the discussion will be based in the AI ML working group in OpenSSF. So I'm not sure if there any similar discussion here already or not. If not, you can either get starting here or just join the OpenSSF discussion to extend into AML. And the document I share is the document being used right now. And if you go to the bottom of it, there's a link to another document, which is the 0.1 version of that. Yeah, still really early. It's all commentable. So yeah, if you don't have time to go to that meeting, you can just add your feedback directly to the document. The one actually, not this one, the one, let me see, this is the main document, which is describing the difference between a baseline and security assessment, which is more assessment is more design and development guideline, whereas the baseline is more security hygiene. Yeah, the one on the bottom, let me just share that document. Yeah, this is where the actual baseline is being documented, developed right now. I just saw the I don't know when I started mute myself. Do you hear that? Yeah, Jordan, you have some feedback. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at this, like the link you provided. It says recommendations for using AI securely and using AI to secure other things. But I would advise looking into a third category. How should project maintainers evaluate, review, et cetera, AI contributions? Meaning, like, in other words, the when you're using AI to improve the security of other products, how does that product securely receive your contributions? Um, and and that can address, like, the concern of slop and things like that. Uh, like it just seems like a missing piece when I look
Oh
at
yeah,
the
if you
vision
can
checks.
maybe it's all documents are commentable. If you can maybe add that comment in there, that'll be great. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm just reading it off the webpage, but I'll try and find a place to comment it. Thanks.
thank
I
you.
had a question, Kevin. I'm just looking through um, the AI project security baseline doc, and I imagine there's a reason for this, but it's a little confusing me in a moment that most of the items in here are not really related to AI, but they're kind of more standard good practice for running any kind of project, really. Is that
Yeah,
intentional?
yeah. If you look at the definition of the baseline, it's actually project baseline. It's not like design and development. So it's actually best practices related to project. Um, yeah.
I wonder if there's much of a do you imagine there being much of a difference between a standard open source project? Like, first off, actually, let me step back. Is the target for this an open source project still? And if so, um, do y'all imagine there's a substantial difference between the security baseline for a regular old project and one that uses AI?
Yeah, just like the name says, the focus for this one at least is open source. And of course, it can be expanded to cover non-open source. But at this point, it is, yeah, that document alone is focusing on open source.
Got it. And I guess going to my other questions, like, do you imagine there's a substantial difference between the baseline of a regular open source project and an AI open source project?
Yeah, well, because I participate in a lot of different, as a generalist in a lot of different communities, including a community called SPDX. And OWASP actually, but not in the Cycling DX side, just the OWASP. In SPDX, we're considering so-called multidimensional metadata because it's a knowledge graph. So it's not just hierarchical data. It's a multidimensional data. So you will have to consider not only the software aspect of it, but also the data, the model, even the hardware, right? The whole multidimensional supply chain. Yeah, so it will be different, but in the beginning, the first version, as you say, you see the 0.1 version, I'm just trying to do a simple translation between the current baseline to IML, one-to-one mapping. But eventually, there will be a lot more differences and multidimensional factors.
Well, beans. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. I'll definitely check it out and try to attend a meeting sometime in the near future just to see how things are going. Thanks for the heads up on this.
Thank you.
Anything else, folks? Thanks, Victor. Thanks for coming and giving us a heads up. So next item on the agenda is the initial update to the secure release guide for the version 2.0. We've had a little bit now for folks to provide feedback that there hasn't really been much in there for what since we last talked about in the meeting. So if you wouldn't mind, in the near future, ideally like this week, taking some time to go through it and dropping feedback, thoughts, concerns, um, even just the structure of the document itself, I'd appreciate feedback on. Uh, Definitely, please do. I just drop comments in the document. That way everybody can see it and we can get kind of just work through it together. But I would really appreciate if we could just get a few more eyes on it before we start looking at wrapping it up so no one is surprised when I say we're publishing and then people look at it. So I appreciate that in advance, folks. Yeah, there's a few comments in the talk. I want to just, if that is literally all that you guys got, then that's great. I just want to make sure that that is all you've got. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think if all of the comments are addressed in some way, and then in theory those changes will be reviewable as well, and then like it overall looks great.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Jordan, since you spoke up, I wanted to ask you how you felt about the structure of the document and having like the list of explicit, like, do this, don't do that, organized by sections, because the original doc that it's based off of the NPM best practices guide kind of more has bigger sections to it and more detail, um, and coding stuff like that. Um,
I
Honestly, I
mean,
originally structured it like
yeah,
that for my own sake, just to kind of organize my thoughts.
right. Yeah, I mean, I think what I like about the bestpractices.dev site is that it's mostly just tasks that you can expand each one with a more justification and details. And so like it's, even though it could be improved, it's and it's, and I wrote that NPM guide for it because like a good chunk of it doesn't apply to the NPM ecosystem. But like, but the for me at least, that format worked really well because it's, I'm a completionist with video games, right? Like you give me a bunch of checkboxes, I'm gonna get them checked. And like so it's just like I move down the list and I'm like, and it's satisfying. And you get to collapse a section and see that it's done. And and so like you don't necessarily have to build a whole interface like that for this, but um, if it's, I'm sure everybody's brains are a little different, but if it's being built for me, that's the sort of format that would suck me in and have me go down and check the boxes. Um, Obviously it shouldn't be built just for one person's, you know, idiosyncrasies, but like that's my reaction essentially. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the way it is now either.
Yeah, I appreciate the perspective. Yeah, I prefer this structure myself, and just having been around the block a few times, making security policies and guides and assessments in the corporate world. Um, Bullets help, and individual actions help. So yeah, so that's cool. If anyone else has any thoughts on the structure or feedback on how things are organized, please. I'm absolutely all ears. I'd love the perspective. Cool beans. Um, so if that's the case, then I will go wrap up those remaining comments and address them. And I'll um, I'll like tag people in the comments and stuff like that when I do that, so you can know that I've made changes and all that stuff. And I'll also track changes. Um, and so that way you'll just get pinged in your inbox once the changes are there. Um, and if people are good to go with those changes, then I'll go and convert it to Markdown and publish um, the draft for it in Markdown. And y'all can let me know how you feel about how it's formatting that, and then we can be good to go. Thanks, folks, on that one. Anything else?
I was just going to let everyone know that we did take a lot of the resources that this group has been producing and put them in one place on our website. So we have security at OpenJS, still a little bit of work in progress on formatting and things like that. So when we do produce new versions, please make sure you let Kylie and me know so we can update the website or tag us in a GitHub issue or the team.
Awesome sauce. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Any other walk-on items before we go into private mode?
Yeah, there was some things added to the agenda on the CNA. So one was a follow-up if the CNA working session had been, um, if that meeting time had been sorted.
Where is the agenda? No, it has not. I'll fix that up because I'll get that going. so we can wrap that up and get the doodle all sorted out. So my bad on not getting that sorted last week. We'll get that going this week.
I think the second line is just me that I wrote about the CNA automation support, but I believe we will discuss it in the same meeting, right? So
Mhm.
I have answered the doodle in any case, so feel free to ping me if you want to talk about that.
Cool beans. Thanks, Rob. All right. There's an item here for compliance guide. I'm not sure who put that in there.
I think that was the agenda item that you wanted for the private session.
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Cool.
So if you're ready, I'll just let me know if there's any other agenda items. Great. If not, I can stop the recording and we'll go to private. I wasn't sure, Raf, if you're
Yeah, I
Alpha
have
Omega.
no, this is just like this is something that I should have done 2 sessions ago, but it's just an announcement to the ones that is watching or in the meeting that I'm fully available to talk about security in your open source JavaScript project as part of the Alpha Omega project. I've been mostly focused on Node.js, but I need to also help develop the ecosystem in general. So I've been following closely the Express security sessions with Ulysses, but also if you, I know most of you work a lot with JavaScript, and if you have any idea on how to enhance the security in the JavaScript ecosystem by either including a new API to Node.js, for instance, or including a new process, I am happy to listen and happy to help whatever I can.
I mean, one thing that I've been noodling with a little bit is now that we've got the CNA spun up, I think like onboarding the projects and getting process documented around that is really important. Because I'm seeing emails come in, some external, some internal, and I think more structure around that is going to be really important.
Cool. Definitely. Sounds good. Anything else, folks? All righty. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming, and we're going to go drop into some private time now.